Hi, and welcome to another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. My name's Adrian,
And I'm Alex.
and today we're with Gina. Hi, Gina.
Hello. Hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And today we're going to talk about Godkiller balance, how Gina got into the space, all these levels, these stuff. You've already kind of know our vibe, but let's learn about Gina.
Wait, what's my vibe? Now I'm
No,
curious.
well,
It's
nice.
stunning. It's a 10 out of 10.
It is
Oh, thank
showing
you.
up to the
Thank you.
podcast, and I am in a tank because I didn't want to wear my work shirt anymore.
You know what? You do you. I love it. You're authentically yourself for this, and that's all I could ask of you.
Appreciate that.
I
Warms the
mean,
heart.
Adrian, you're that bitch. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about Godkiller balance. How long have you been recording this?
Well, so we finished recording actually a year exactly to the day when we started recording, which was wild. So start to finish, the show took us a full exact year to record. We're no longer recording right now. We're just releasing episodes at this point, which is bittersweet.
Was that the plan when y'all got into it?
Was what the plan?
Was the 1 year, was that like the whole plan?
No, it was completely accidental actually because we had I think we had two plans to record previous dates before that, but things kept coming up and we had to keep shifting it. And by the time we ended up recording the final episode, which is the epilogue, which is dropping, I don't know when this is going to come out, but July 25th, the last episode, it ended up being a year to the day from when we started.
That's
Wild.
pretty cool. I love that.
Yeah. It was a nice little bookend, you know, it was a nice
Yeah.
little added piece of closure.
Yeah. So what is Godkiller balance about?
Well, it's about so many things. It's about so many things, but at the heart of it, it is about grief. It's about loss. It's about mourning. It's about finding yourself in the course of grief and how we find closure or don't find closure. It's at like a kind of basic narrative level. It's about two people who are each in their own stages of grief, their own place within their own grief, and how they come together, what they see in one another, and how they ultimately try and keep the universe from ending. If you've listened to the first season of Godkiller through Blackwater, Godkiller Oblivion, Godkiller Balance is actually set 60 years in the past, so 60 years before Godkiller Oblivion starts. So anyone who's listened to that kind of already knows what happens at at the end of the universe. But Godkiller Balance is about what we find ourselves in before all of that happens. It can be about a lot of different things for a lot of different people, depending
Of
on
course.
depending on what you've experienced and where you're at when you're listening to it. It can be a lot. It was a lot for us to record it.
Each individual story, their own personalities, kind of like growing into that character and also portraying a
Yeah.
little of our own selves in some facets, because it's hard to make art if you don't put yourself into it.
I absolutely agree. I put a piece of myself in every character that I play, every character that I create, and varying degrees, right? We don't want to put
Yeah.
all of ourselves into one character, but I've always found that it's really difficult for me to connect to a character if I don't do that to some degree. Like there is Ever is a part of me, and there is a lot of Ever in me and a lot of myself in her. It can be a really beautiful thing when you're able to look at, like, I look at my friends in the shows that they're doing, the stories that they're telling, and I'm like, I see that in you, or I know that part of you. Like, every now and then you'll get a little glimpse. I think that's just
Yeah.
so special.
Have you ever like created a character that's like, I want to try out this either like feeling or this kind of side of me that I haven't really kind of, I guess, played through in real life, that I would like to test with through these kind of like TTRPGs, kind of this almost like a play therapy kind of thing?
Absolutely. And I'm really glad that you refer to it like that because that's actually one of the ways in which I'm a therapist in my day job. And so that's one of the ways in which we can really try on different aspects of our identity and different aspects of our personality through these characters. I think it's such a fun and therapeutic way to explore ourselves. I've definitely done that. I'm playing right now in my home game. I play a character who is very blunt and very um, straightforward. And as a chronic people pleaser, that is a very a very it's a very exciting, and I think like it stretches parts of you in ways that are really transformative. I've done that with my home game characters, plural. I've done that with one character that I played for a VTM mini chronicle. Uh, my character is not very much like me at all, and I really find that a wonderful escape, especially when we spend so much time in the real world, which is, you know,
Yeah, we know. It
you
is
know,
as it is. It portrays not so well.
it
The new
is. It
words
is
can be.
what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's something. Hmm.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
these little things, these little escapes, even we portray things that we want to see happen.
yeah.
The toppling of shitty governments,
Hmm.
the ne'er do wells getting what their comeuppance. These things that we
Yeah.
like. You know what? Even though we're not, you know, may not have that inside ourselves to participate in a very radical way, we can still like dream and play in that space to, maybe create
Hmm.
those smaller changes that is in order for
Yeah.
those things like, helping community and things like that. Like just by playing with each other in order for us to kind of create that community is still boosting everybody up to keep us up above that kind of water that we have when we
Hmm.
live in this world, unfortunately.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Building
So,
community, being
yeah.
able to enact that kind of change on a grand scale in your own game's universe, and also being able to do things on a small scale, on an individual scale, on an internal scale, right? Of something maybe even as small as or as big as saying goodbye to somebody that you never got a chance to say goodbye to, or being able to tell the truth in a situation for your character when you wouldn't have been able to in real life. There's so much magic in these games that
Oh.
I cannot stop. I can't stop. I
Well,
cannot and will
why
not
would
stop.
we?
Why would we?
It's just such
No, it
a
really,
fun
really
escape.
plays a good part, I think, especially since you have the background of therapy that like you can't help but then to overanalyze everything that you're doing and saying, cool, how is this applied, in my real life? But I mean, I agree. I agree. We all agree. This entire podcast is based on how magical these games are and what they can do to help bring community about and how you grow as a person through these characters. Even if you don't feel like you're a storyteller, right? Even if you don't feel like you could write a novel, you're still able to write that narrative for you and your character. Um, it is pretty magical.
And that's the thing, like we're all storytellers in our own way, whether or not our shows or our games or our stories are being broadcast to people across the internet, whether you have one viewer or millions of viewers or no one except the people at your table are hearing that story. You are telling a story with people in a way that changes their view on their lives. It's changing the way that they approach themselves. That's changing so much more, I think, than so many of us give ourselves credit for. Like I hear people say, I'm not a storyteller, or I'm not really doing anything special with this game, and it's like I think you're doing so much more than you think. Just by opening yourself, even just within yourself, of opening yourself up to being vulnerable with these characters and telling this story and trying something new or trying on someone new. It's that in itself can make ripples of change.
How did you get into the TTRPG space?
I've always been a theater nerd, a fantasy nerd growing up. I was always that kid, and I never knew anyone who played these types of games. And it wasn't until 2019, early 20, well, no, like mid 2019, when my partner, who had been playing for a couple years, we was still new to it as well, but he'd been playing for a couple of years, maybe like 2 years, with a group of people, some who were friends of ours, some people that I knew, and some people who I didn't know. And one day he came up to me and he was like, "I feel like you would really enjoy this a lot more than I do, because not that he wasn't enjoying it, but he was never like a, fantasy nerd up until he started playing." And he's like, the group really wants to run a one shot for you and just kind of see if you'd be interested. And I played a pre-gen wizard named Linda for like a 3 hour one shot, and I was absolutely hooked. I couldn't stop talking about it. I was so excited about it. I was talking about all the things that I would have done had I understood the rules better, because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I immediately said, the next campaign that you start, the next game that you start, like, I would love to join. And I never stopped. And that was in 2019, right before everything shut down. I like to say it was before the pandemic. It was barely before the pandemic, but it was. I got it in before everybody started playing
Yeah.
TTRPGs during lockdown. And that was the beginning of it. We were always playing virtually because half of the group was across the country anyway. And so even though we had some people here close by, the majority of the group was all virtual. So we were just playing through Google Meets. And I rarely get to play at an actual table. I think I've played at an actual table with physical people a handful of times at cons, and twice with my home game, all in person. And that's my next thing that I want to
Yeah.
try and do more of, is like actually play at tables, because there's something so special about being able to, like, with consent, of course, reach out and touch the person that you're
Yeah.
playing with. Like, to be
Yeah.
able to see them across the table, or like actually lock eyes with them instead of through a screen, which you can make do,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just not the
So,
same.
yeah, there's like
But it is what got me into it, right?
right,
It's like
right,
that's
right.
that's sort of how I learned to play, was this way.
And I completely agree with that physical, like, being in that person's presence that pixels cannot kind of
Hmm.
copy. Like, Alex and I are going to a convention, Gen Con, the end of the month, and
Hey,
to see all those people.
we're gonna have to meet up because I'm gonna be there too.
Oh yeah.
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 To see all those people that we've just seen on screens, and to like give them hugs or whatever
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
their kind of language of love and connection, it's just it, it warms me, it fills my bucket until like I have to sit back in front of a computer again. I'm like, all right, when's the next convention, when can I see my friends again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's
And
just
that's the
something.
community that
Yeah.
you're talking about, right? Like that's what I think it's those moments of connection that we get in between these. We build these stories, and we build these relationships with people, and we like get to know each other through our characters, and then when we finally get to see each other in person, when we're lucky enough to be able to see each other
Hmm.
in person, if we don't live in the same city, which it seems like so many of us don't.
Right.
I found that. Um, it's it's just so wonderful to be able to have that. Like, you can actually touch these people and like be. There's something so wonderful about that physical human connection, that as
Hmm.
much as video conferencing and streaming and all of that gives us, we want to be connected to one another. That's why we tell these stories, is because we want to be connected with other people.
Yeah. And it's always so nice, like when you tell certain stories from the heart, and then people are like, I felt I've never been heard in that way,
Yeah.
and you saying this, made me feel like, oh, I'm not alone. And then that's why I always kind of like love to see, you know, a, a myriad of different people in this space, putting things onto platforms so that people like them can see each other. And it's like, oh, I'm not alone. I can also be this geeky nerd, this whatever we are, this theater kid, whatever it
Yeah.
is. So it's always so nice for that to happen. Anyways, I'm also very excited for the cons. So
Yeah. What's your favorite part of the con?
the friends, unfortunately,
This is the friends.
there's like so much. Look, listen, I could say cards. I could say I'm playing games. I'm buying stuff. I could
Sure.
say the little things we do on the side,
Uh-huh.
like me and Alex, our panels and stuff. But
Yeah.
like beyond that, beyond the like the scheduling, it's those little moments between where we're like sitting down, taking a breath, and just
Mm-hmm.
being with each other, not as these actual players, not as these co-hosts, but as like people who are
Just
just
human
trying to
beings.
rest
Yeah.
just for
Yeah.
a little bit before we get back to having our fun. A little bit hectic, but having our fun.
It's a particular kind of fun at the cons. I feel like
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
high energy, high strung, multitasking, sleep
Hmm.
deprived
Yeah.
fun, but it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, exactly. I always kind of like I think about like last time I was at a con. I'm like, I need to plan things better. And now that we've planned things a little bit better, I'm seeing like, oh, I've just made a way for me to just inch every single moment of my life to have something going on, and I'm like, I mean, I did say I'd
Uh-huh.
plan and I did it, so I can only blame
Yeah.
myself for this.
You overplan. You planned so well, is what I'm
Hmm.
hearing,
Yeah.
that you've scheduled every moment
Yeah.
of the con.
There
His
are
schedule is very
spots.
efficient, right? It's a very
Yeah,
efficient way
it's
of getting
back to
through the
back.
convention. It's all back to back, right? If you wanted to experience everything that Gen Con could offer, Adrian is doing it that way.
Wow.
I have on my schedule literally very little that has anything to do with games. I am in two of the like dance classes because I was like, you know
Fun.
what, right? And then chainmail. But
Ooh.
I agree with Adrian, right? The community aspect, the talking to people, the food. We always end up finding really good food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
It can be hit or miss, but we've been very lucky and fortunate. So I
we've
will
been
not
very
put that
lucky.
against us.
I-
Okay, I don't. It's just
don't even put that out there. We've been lucky with our food. Okay, we could be,
It's tough out there.
yeah,
It's tough out there.
yeah. But it is definitely like the like going out to eat with people we talk to or watch and have that parasocial relationship with, but like actually getting to do like real human things. It's crazy that we go
Yeah.
all this way to like go do normal things with people. Like we could play games. We could play
Like we said
Lorcana
we
the entire
could.
time.
Could
But
just sit in a hotel lobby at 2 in the morning and
Oh,
oh my god, you're right.
Alex not
Yeah.
built like that. I stay up until the last minute.
I can't. I
No.
can't. I did last year. I was out way too late last year, and then I came
Hmm.
home with COVID, so I'm gonna try not to do that this year.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of people just gathering
There's so many
together real
It's rough
close.
out there, man. Yeah.
What's
That was
your
my
favorite
first time
part?
getting it, to my knowledge.
No.
To my knowledge.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you fought some odds there.
I
2024.
did. I don't do a lot. That's the key. I don't.
And you
I
fought
don't
those
go
odds
out.
well.
I did. I did. My favorite part of the con, I think, I don't know. I'm approaching this con. Obviously, my favorite part of the con overall is getting to see all of my friends that I never get to see because there are so many people who, because they have chosen to live so far away from me or their jobs and livelihoods are very far away from where I am, means, and they're very busy, means that I don't get to see them unless we're all at one convention in one small space at one time. So that's my favorite part, is just being able to like see these people that I never get to see and play games with them and just be, like you said, just be normal human beings doing nothing together in a space. But I am approaching this con a little bit differently. I'm kind of doing like a mix and match, right? I'm kind of doing like I'm doing two events and that I'm like participating in. And then I'm learning how to play crokinole.
Oh, crocodile.
I've never played it before. I don't even know how to play, but my partner and I are like signed up to play that
Heck yeah.
at some point. And then I think that's the only other thing that's like actually on my calendar, because everything else I'm just going to sort of be bopping around from place to place and seeing people and hitting up
Hmm.
parties and trying to rest in between, finding empty rooms where I can lay down on the floor. Big
Alex
May
didn't do
I-
that, but
May I
Alex
just
found a
suggest?
floor.
I just laid on the floor in
Yeah.
the hallway. I was
Yeah.
just.
Yeah, you got to have floor time.
Yeah.
I feel you. Absolutely.
You know what's crazy too, now that I think about this? I had like a Norse Foundry bag, like clearly apparent I'd spent some money on dice, right?
Yeah.
Just like
yeah.
on the floor next to me, and I was out. But I woke up to the cosplay parade.
Yeah.
March parade.
Oh.
It was I was like, what, where have
What
I
a delight.
Yeah.
It's like waking
So.
up in the Feywild. You're just so
Yeah.
confused.
Yeah, it's
What's
exactly like that.
happening?
So if you find any rooms, just like, send me a text and we can just like
will.
nap together.
Yeah, you just got to
Just
get
like-
under a table and it's just quiet
Yeah.
and it's an empty space and it's beautiful. It's a wonderful thing.
See, Adrian,
What?
there are people like me who just fall asleep
okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
random places.
Sorry, I'm very high strung. Okay, once I'm awake, I'm awake. Okay. And then
Well,
I'm
now
like, gotta
I haven't
go.
fallen asleep. I haven't fallen asleep under a table, but I do lay down and decompress.
Ah.
I don't think I'm too. I get crowd anxiety, and I don't like being in. I get very overstimulated. I just bought loop earplugs
Yeah.
for this.
Are you gonna-
I've never used them before. I'm
Sponsor
so excited
us.
about it.
Actually,
Yeah.
don't just. I'll
Alex,
keep
are you
paying
gonna
full
remember
price.
this con? Because this is like 2 or 3 cons in a row. You tell me you're gonna bring them and you forget. You don't even know which box it's in.
Oh no! Oh no! They're packed away. You'll
got
find
2
them.
weeks.
You've got like 2 weeks.
I got 2 weeks. I think I know where they could be. No, actually, I lied. Time out. I'm so smart. I put them in my backpack, right? I put them
smart.
in my normal backpack that is going with me to the convention. So I think I have all 4 pairs that I own in that backpack.
You got to diversify. You can't put them all in one. You got to put them in different spots.
They usually do, but right, this whole moving endeavor, because
Yeah,
there
that's
are.
true. That's
I
fair.
have a pair that live at school. I have a pair that live like next to my like bedside table. I have a pair that I have like a bunch of pairs. They live on my keys.
Yeah.
So
Which
they're
is so crazy that you
incredible.
forgot them. You have so
I
many
forgot them
pairs.
you know what? I did not forget them at the Baby Metal concert, so
Nice.
Nice indeed.
I remembered.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
But the loops
Gina-
are incredible. So you haven't used them before? Sorry.
No.
no.
No,
We don't,
I
here we go.
I just bought them because I've been noticing that in myself more and more as like I've just been, learning about myself and how neurodivergent I am and the ways in which I get so overstimulated in crowds.
Yeah.
And I realized I was like, oh no, I need to have my shit together for Gen Con this year, especially with how many like people I'm going to be talking to and places I'm going to be going and things I'm going to be doing. I need to be
Yeah.
regulated as much as I can be.
Yeah.
Understood.
I've gotten to the point where I have to like think about my hairstyles because at some point I was able to let go of like masking and being okay with like my hair in a normal ponytail. And like at this point I can't do a normal ponytail. It has to be like off because it pulls too much tension. It's crazy once you figure out what are the triggers and like what happens. I am intolerant to it now.
But now you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there any other hacks you have for cons that you've learned over the years? This is to both of y'all because I just grit my teeth.
The thing is, I'm so new to this space. This is only going to be this will be my 3rd Gen Con. But the first Gen Con that I ever went to was my first convention ever because I had never gone. I have only been in this space for a very short amount of time. And so that first one was A lot. It was very surprising to me how many people were there, and also I think also surprising how many spaces you could find if you look hard enough for them that aren't super crowded. For
Hmm.
how many people you know were there, I think it was like 60 something thousand the first year I was there. Last year was something like 70 or 75,000 people. It's just wild to think about. But really, I've found like getting outside, going for walks outside, getting air, finding rooms that are quiet. Because you can always, almost always find rooms that people aren't using, even if it's like, even if they're designated for something. If they're not hosting anything in there, you can just maybe I'm gonna get in trouble. Who's gonna? No, they're not gonna kick me out of
They're-
Gen Con for this. There's like there's
You could just take the
this
ducks from the pond. Just
the
kidding.
security is so low there. Like you can go in any room that's not
Hmm.
blocked off that they don't care
Mhm.
about and find a space to regulate yourself. Um, I found like fidget toys to be really helpful. So anything that you can fidget with, anything that's like a temperature, so anything metal that's going to be cold, um, any space that you can just walk around, like do that bilateral stimulation, just kind of like walk in a circle, take a loop around. It really just depends on what your triggers are and what you notice in yourself. Because like if you notice that you get really activated when you're hot, for example, a lot of people, especially with anxiety, especially anyone taking SSRIs, like when it's really, really hot, which we know that when we go to Gen Con, it's going to be flaming hot and the AC in there is not adequate, your chance of anxiety is going to be a lot higher, or your like window of tolerance for panic attacks, anxiety is going to be a lot smaller. And so knowing what your activators are and what your triggers are, I think is honestly the best hack that you can have, in the sense of just knowing yourself and what you need, and having people around you who are willing to help you get what you need, or willing to help you. Like if you have a friend and you notice that, when you're in a crowd, speaking from experience, if you're in a crowd and you start to like power down because things are so
Hmm.
overstimulating, that they can clock that in you and be like, let's go outside. And then they walk with you and take you outside and help you to get back to yourself in that way.
Yeah, just a little recharge.
So just a little recharge, just a little
Yeah.
sitting on a stone step somewhere, getting a little drink, laying down, doing whatever you need to do, putting your earplugs in,
Eating
listening to
snacks.
some music.
I'm a snack
Snacks.
person.
You're a
Oh,
snack
I
person.
Snacks.
I have
Oh,
to have a
yeah.
snack. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have two. Like I have to have a snack, and then I have to regulate my temperature. Like when we went to PAX Unplugged,
Hmm.
legs and knees are out, even though it's the middle of winter, because I get hot. And if I get hot, then I'm grumpy. I don't want to do anything. So
Yeah,
You got to get those. You can get those pants, right? That have like the
zippers.
tear. And
They
you
were
can
made
just
for
be
me.
covered in the winter
You know
and then
what?
just unzip.
I have a pair.
You do?
Do you?
I do. They're my Cub Master, my Cub Scout leader pants.
That
I have
makes
a
so much
pair.
sense. I love that. That's great. I would expect nothing less of a Cub Scout leader to have those kinds of pants.
They're hideous on me, but they're there.
But
They
they
do
get
the job.
They
done.
do the
Yeah.
job.
See, Alex, you said you're a snack person, but I clearly remember you forgetting to eat for like hours.
This is the
Oh,
problem.
yeah.
But when I did, like, it was an immediate perk back up. I'm happy. I'm not tired or grumpy. So yeah, as long as there's two things happening. I travel and then I don't eat, and then I'm around people, so I don't eat. So I miss my hunger cues. Like I'm missing the cues to regulate myself. So that's why, Adrian, when you're like, hey, I'm like, hey, we have breakfast on Sundays, right? We have our breakfast.
Mhm.
'Cause
Yeah,
I'm making
but that
up
was just
all the-
because it was so weirdly serene.
Oh, so
And
nice.
it was like the last day of the con, and we just sat down across from each other. I don't think we said anything for a
No.
long time, and we
No.
just ate, and then we're like, this should just be our thing. Just the Sunday, just do this.
That sounds
Yeah.
right. Just the Sunday of the con when everybody is so wiped and just exhausted and you have nothing left. You have no bandwidth. You just got to recharge. That's the thing too about, I think, snacks, as you have to have them be accessible
Right.
snacks. And you have to have them on a schedule, because I experience the exact same thing. Like when your nervous system is so overrun, your body and your brain are focused on survival. It's not focused on, oh, let's sit down and have a snack because I'm feeling hungry. It's like, no,
Mm-hmm.
your body's not going to send you those signals. So you have to remind it, no, this is still the time that we eat. This is the
Mm-hmm.
time that we need nutrients to be able to survive the throng of people that are headed your way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to
And then
keep
remembering
yourself going.
there's lines everywhere. There's lines everywhere.
Yeah.
So what you think is you're going to go grab like a quick little bite, you're still waiting 30, 45 minutes for it. I think last year I lived on Jimmy John sandwiches.
You had two
I had
Jimmy
one,
Johns at the very
two Jimmy
beginning of
John's
the, and then you just
survived
ate it
on.
over time. And that just, to me, was quite bizarre. But hey, whatever works, man.
Whatever.
Was
there
that
were
over the
two.
course of a day or over the course of how long?
It was like
God.
it was like okay. To be fair, it was like
fair.
3 days. Okay, it was like,
still 3 days.
2 sandwiches over the course of 3 days?
but like the large ones. Like we're not talking like the little like. It was there. It was my breakfast. I
And
took
your
breakfast.
lunch and your dinner.
It was not all like that. I didn't do it like that. Like those would be so small. But no, it was like 2. It was like dinner for one night and then breakfast for the next 2. I had the like sandwiches when we were leaving our Airbnb to go to the con.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's brutal out there.
It's something else. It's absolutely just everyone for themselves. That's not true.
Community, right?
Community.
Yeah.
But also, look out. They're gonna get you. No, just kidding.
Yeah. Also, I'll fight you for that food truck taco.
They just hit different after you stand for 8 to 10 hours,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
What was your first character coming into the TTRPG space?
Well, so my first character or my first character in the space?
Let's do the one because Linda sounds great. However,
Linda.
Linda was
Yeah.
pre-built.
Linda was great.
I want to know what you put into your character accidentally, right? We're really just
Ooh.
looking for the tea of like
Yeah.
that first character hits different because you have no idea the impact.
They do hit different. So I'll tell you about my first character in the TTRPG space. Was her name was Yev, and she was a level 10 by the end of it, half elf rogue assassin fighter. She multi-classed by the end. Oh, my sweet baby Yev. She had so much happening. She'd lost her twin brother years ago in a raid. He had been out, like, wrong place, wrong time. He basically, deep backstory lore, he basically had like been used as a human shield and was just absolutely crushed by this warforged bounty hunter who was after her boss, and he betrayed her. It was a whole thing. And after that, she had just sort of been living a I guess trigger warning for folks. She had been living a very like passively suicidal life. For many years, she joined a militant group as a way to escape like persecution for things that she had done previously. But the whole time, she was just trying to numb the grief. She had nightmares about the night that he died. Like every single night, she drank so that she wouldn't dream. She would engage in like a lot of risky behaviors, right? Like risky sex, risky relationship dynamics. She started a fighting pit. It was a whole thing. Like I had all of this backstory for her. Because she was a rogue, but I played her like a fighter up until she actually ended up multiclassing, because she would get really up close and personal and like throw herself into situations that were not safe for her. Basically, everything that she did was like her way of seeing how close to death she could actually get without having to do it herself, because she knew that her brother would never forgive her. And so I just, the thing that I love, and I think the thing that I, without going into like a whole lot of stuff. Like the thing that I really love about being able to play these characters, and the thing I love about being able to put aspects of myself into these characters, is that there is a there is a kind of sincerity and a kind of honor that we bring to these characters that we play in the way that we tell their stories, and the ways in which we are able to connect with those pieces of ourselves that say, or that like those through lines within us. Like we all have these through lines through our characters, right? Like we all have that little piece. And for me, there has always been this through line of, when did you realize that you weren't strong enough? When did you realize that you were not enough to do what needed to be done or to prevent what happened? And how does that show up? How do you survive that? How do you pay for that? And I came out the gate on my first character in the TTRPG space with a character who was very broken,
Mm-hmm.
and in a way that, not broken in the sense of like unfixable, but broken. Like she felt that she was broken. She believed that she was irreparable.
Right.
And I will always have such a soft spot for her specifically, in the way that even in throughout the show, so much of her backstory didn't really come out in a straightforward way. It was only 10 episodes, but there were hints of that, and allusions to that, and moments where, if you knew that in yourself, if that was a part of you, you could see that in her.
Within a 10 episode kind of storyline, was there any kind of regret with choices you made during, like, that you wish you could have kind of like expanded on, or things you could have interacted with?
Within her character, you mean?
Yes.
I think I wish I'd had more time with her. I always wish that I would have more time with my characters, but also I think that's not really the point of telling these stories. It's not to have, which is a lot of actually what we explore in Godkiller Balance too. It's like sometimes you don't, sometimes you can, but sometimes you can't get the closure that you need.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes a story, a snippet of a story that you see is all that you get. Sometimes you meet people at the end of an arc for themselves. Sometimes you meet people and you don't get access to that part of them. And that's okay. We have to be okay with that. And so I think, I guess to answer your question, I think that I would always love more time with all of my characters, but I think for Yev, I think it's right that we didn't. I think there's something more precious about that,
Mm-hmm.
of someone who was so determined to try and make things right at any cost, and couldn't.
Is that something that, like you said, you wish you have more time with all your characters? Have you had that? So is that just a universal experience with your characters? Is there anything that you felt like, I've closed the circle and we're golden?
I do feel, I do genuinely feel like we've closed the circle with Ever for
Hmm.
Godkiller. I wish there will always be a part of me that wishes that I could just play her for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Forever.
Mm-hmm.
For always. And I also think that the way that we tied up this story, I think it's that in itself, of what we were looking to achieve with this, is how we find closure. I feel very happy with how this show ended, but I think, yeah, I do. There will always be a part of me that wants as much time as I can possibly get with my characters, because I think that there's so much. I put a lot into And I don't say this to say like I put so much work into my characters, so I deserve more time with them. Absolutely not. I think I there's so much that I build for them that I would love the opportunity to be able to play out so many different things with them and
Right.
see how watch them grow in that way. But this is short form storytelling. I'm not the only campaign that I've been in. I haven't been in very many. I've been in my home game campaign, which I'm actually going to play right after we get off of this. We've been
Mm.
playing now that campaign for a little over 2 years, which is a lovely long amount of time. The first campaign I played with them, we ended it just after 3 years. So the longest that I've ever played in a campaign has been 3 years. But even then, I would want more time with them too.
Always longing for more time.
Always longing for more.
I think about that, right, as like an avid reader, because you think about some of these series that have 5, 6, 7 books in them, and the ones that I dislike are the ones that I'm just working with one character the whole time, right? Mm-hmm. Sort of he who shall not be named, right? Just one character. But I'm reading Barrier Bones in the Midnight Soil. And for a little reading, I'm listening to it. But I find myself, I guess, as I'm getting older, I like jumping around in the stories, and I like watching the way that like authors are weaving in these storylines together, because that's more entertaining. That's a better. It makes that time with that character more important, right? I don't just get to see everything, but I do get these like really brilliant snapshots of their life.
Yeah.
So maybe 1,000,000 characters at one time.
I just play so many at once. Well, that's why I love like when you play in a show, or when you're in a show or you're playing a game and you have
Mm-hmm.
these moments of each character has their own stuff going on. Like I want to know about all of my other fellow players' characters. Like I want to know these things. I think sometimes we get into like main character syndrome with groups sometimes, where it's like one person whether it's that person's like interpretation, or it just sort of
Mm-hmm.
happens that way, like the arc, the story starts to turn in one direction. I always really value when we're able to highlight all of the players in their own ways, in their own stories, and give them the space that they deserve. Because I think you're right. I think if you're playing in a game where it's just one character's story with like different, and like players as NPCs, or like different people kind of supporting the same storyline, that's one, that's not fair to every other player, but also that's kind of boring.
And it's kind of like more realistic to life that we're not all in service to this one individual. We are
Mm-mm.
all trying to you compete in with ourselves in this light to kind of like, all right, I'm gonna try my best to do this for myself, and then also I want to help these other people
Yeah.
as well. And we
Yeah.
are woven into each other in some form or fashion.
Well, and I think there's also that piece of, as a performer, as a player, like your job at the table should be to make the other players look good, right? Like your job should be to support the other people at the table,
Right.
because those are some of my most favorite moments in any games, when you're able to, like, as a player, sit and help build something for someone else's character to shine. Because those are moments, I don't know, I think we have to be able to step out of our own. As much as I want more time with my own characters, like, it's so important to be able to step out of that story for them and be able to just be present for someone else's story.
That table dynamic is important too, because
Right.
the assumption would be that if I want to do this for your character like that, I would want you to do that for my character as well. And like, we have that give and take, and it's not just, one person at the table just like letting everybody else have their moments, and everyone else is just saying, "Cool, you just get to sit by like an NPC."
Right.
We're
So-
important too.
You're important.
Well, that's why like table trust is
Yeah.
so critical in this. It shouldn't be one person or like a couple people at the table and everybody else plays like a supporting character to some story. It's every
Right.
single person, just like in life, has their own history, their own backstory, their own wants and needs, their own desires and goals, and it's about building a collaborative game. That's the whole point, is that it's collaborative, and it should never be, oh, I get to play with these other people. And it's like, no, you're all playing together. You're all playing the same game together.
They all get to play with me.
They all get to play with me.
Oh, what a pleasure for them.
Oh, you're welcome.
I want to meet that player. I'm not gonna lie. I want to meet that person who is like that, because we've yet to see somebody. I've yet to see players like that. Right? We make
That's
the
a
joke.
good thing. You should be very glad that.
I am just so like I'm the character. Oh no, it's me.
No.
Yeah, you're playing so many games.
Oh,
So many. I'm the problem.
Yeah. Is there any other kind of APs or projects that you're working on currently that we will see in the future?
Oh boy. So let's see. I mean, things that you would know. So I've been obviously so blessed and lucky to be able to work with Blackwater D&D. We've got a couple other things in the works together, which I can't talk about, but I'm really, really excited about that. You probably also have heard me through The Heart is a Dungeon. I've done a couple shows through them. A fantastic, fantastic group of folks putting together just the most wonderfully weird poetry turned AP masterpieces. So you would see me there. Things in the past. The VTM Chronicle that I've done with the playmat it's called Of Kindred and Kin. It's a really short one. But you would see me in that, although that's already been out. I'm currently in the works with a couple, planning a couple other things in the future that unfortunately I cannot talk about just yet. I'm very super secret. Sorry, guys. But I'm also freelance writing. So if you ever play Pathfinder, I'm a freelance writer for Pathfinder on occasion. So I've had 2 books come out with them recently. What else? I try not to, because of my day job and because of just like the general responsibilities that I have and the time that I have, I can't really commit to more than one full length, like full time AP production at a time. I can do smaller things in between, but it's kind of I lock in one, like, what I would consider like full time commitment thing at a time, and just kind of have to ride it out until the next one.
That sounds great.
Yeah. How'd you get into writing for Pathfinder?
So my undergrad is actually in short fiction, and so when I started, actually before I started in this, for a long time I wanted to be a writer, and I would write short stories and things, and was just kind of that type of person who was like, I'm gonna get published someday, and I never did, and I've never like have the time really to put things together, and then when I started playing these games, I would write like, well, my character creation process is actually really in depth with a lot of writing. So what I do is I write out a memory or a dream or something that my character would have, and I write a short vignette from their perspective, like little flash fiction pieces, for my characters, and then I build from there. So I find music that fits that vignette, and I write while I listen to it, and then I find more music, and then I write more, and then I find more music, and then I write more. And so I have these like collections of things, and I would write for the campaigns that I was in, just like snippets of my character's life as we were playing. Like we would do this in my home game. We would have an RP channel where we would write collaborative like fanfic for our characters in downtime, and that was one of my favorite things. And so I had all of these like snippets of writing with nothing to do with aside from just art us to enjoy. And I went to Big Bad Con
Hmm.
2 years ago. 2 years ago? Time is a weird soup. I don't know.
Yep.
I think it was 2 years ago. And I had been chatting with some of my friends who actually who work for Wizards, and we were talking about how I wanted to write but I'd never written for RPGs before, and it was just like a thing that I eventually someday wanted to do. And I think they were so sick of hearing me talk about it that they like waited for me after a game at Big Bad and they pulled me out of the room and they like whisked me down like through these hotel hallways at Big Bad, and they were like, okay, you're going to meet these people, you're going to talk to them, you're going to like pitch them on yourself, and then go. And they just kind of like threw me and hooked me up with some folks at Paizo. And I just blabbed to them about how I've been playing Pathfinder in my home game, and I play this Bone Oracle, and she's really cool. And also I write on the side. And they were like, well, do you have writing samples? And I said, I have fan fiction. That's it. And they were like, cool, well, send it to us. And I did. And now I write for Pathfinder. So they liked it, is what I'm saying. So don't stop writing fanfic.
Right.
Hell
It could
yeah.
get you it could get you more work in the future.
Get that AO3
And
out.
also writing fanfiction is work. It is absolutely work. And we have fanfic for GKB, and it's my favorite thing in the whole world.
That's awesome.
If you search Godkiller Balance on AO3, you might find some incredible things on there.
I love people. I love humans so much.
I do too. Yeah.
It's so silly.
It's wonderful. Because we're all, and that's what I mean, like we're all storytellers. Whether you're writing fanfic for your favorite show, or you're writing it for your characters, or you're just telling stories, you're telling stories with your friends on a video chat that no one will see, or at a table that no one else is present for, like you're making magic. So cool, man. I love this stuff.
Hell yeah.
We love this stuff too.
I love this
So
stuff.
silly.
Wow, we should
It's
talk
so
on a
silly.
podcast about it.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
you have enough stuff to
It's
talk on a
crazy.
podcast. Wow, you should make me do that.
You know, we did it. It was like 20. It's a 2020 thing to do, right? So
Oh, yeah.
When did you
Why
guys
not?
start? When did you start? this?
2020.
That was 2020?
Yeah. Yeah.
I had to
amazing.
keep up with people, and I was like losing it. Like, I haven't talked to anybody. I've been like secluded for
Uh-huh.
6 months.
That's a long
Hey,
time.
Alex, you wanna talk about this thing? I have a hobby, and I think you'd be into it. Let's talk. And
You
look
were
at you
right.
now.
Yeah. Here we are. Look at me. I have a D&D shirt on and everything.
Wow.
Crazy.
I didn't.
Wow.
I just wore a plain old button down.
How dare you have a job?
It looks
Boring.
great. It's
How dare
not
you.
plain old. What the hell?
Dress
It's multiple
professionally.
colors. It's very
I know,
soft.
that's-
It looks like a pajama shirt, which is my favorite. The comfier I can be, the better. That's the best part about doing this work. Is like I can wear sweatpants and
Mhm,
Yeah.
no one can see
None the
unless
wiser.
I sit like this, because I can't sit like a normal person in a chair to save my life.
The energy, the
The
goblin
stereotypes
energy.
are
What is-
true.
They're there for a reason.
They're there for a reason.
But yeah, no, this journey where I didn't think I'd be like talking on panels like 5 years
Yeah.
ago, and I didn't think that like, oh, I'm gonna talk to like Beatles and Grimm and just like them just being cool, relaxed guys, you know. I think about people in business and they're like, yeah, we're just gonna talk about a product and that's it. But then we're like, hey, can we talk about like how you started? They're like, oh fuck yeah, that's like all I want to talk about ever. It's just so good. It's a crazy path that I feel like I like with your story that just kind of like, yeah, that is wild. What are we doing? This is absolutely wild.
What are we doing?
You get like you're talking about what you love, and then you're like, you know what? You know who else will love it? This person. They just shoved you over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
What good
Here-
friends though. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
for real.
they jump you. What a like the best way to be jumped.
Yeah.
Right? I just got done playing a game. Here, go meet these people.
Right. Here. Just stop telling us about it and not doing it. Just start doing it. Yeah.
Do you think you could ever like yourself, I guess, create and then manage an AP? I know you have a big schedule, but I was like wondering. Is that a
God,
dream?
I don't have the organizational capability to do that.
Gotcha.
I a lot of my folks in my home game keep trying to like lovingly bully me into
Mhm, mhm.
GMing, and I did once. I GM'd for them a very short. I think it was only it ended up being 3 sessions
Mhm.
of Bluebeard's Bride, which if you've never played it is
heard of it.
exceptional. I love horror and I love just weird shit and it's psychological. It's feminine horror, and so it's
Right.
like right up my alley. And I played that for my all male home group, and it was so fun. And also, I like the first day that I ran it, I was like, "Is this how GMs feel? This is exceptional. Like this is amazing. Like this is
The power.
This is like drugs. Like how do they?" And then immediately after that, the next day and following, the next session and following, I was like, "Nope, I don't. This is too much pressure, too much responsibility. I don't have the organizational space in my brain to do this." Maybe someday that will change, but I really like being a player because I get to be fully immersed in my character as I'm playing. I think as a GM, you're kind of, you can't be fully immersed in one character. You have to run multiple. You have to be everywhere all at once. And I don't think I would do nearly as well doing that.
It's a lot. As
It's
someone
a
who's
lot.
usually the GM, it's a
Yeah.
lot. And I have to rely on my players who are just like, I'm like, man, I said the name last week really well. This week, this is about what I think I just
Yeah.
said last week.
Or what was
I
that
wrote it
accent
down.
that I did for that character? It's hard to say.
Don't tell
I
me
don't
to
know.
do an accent.
I don't know.
Don't.
No,
If I
you're
don't
not
have
an
a
accent guy?
face, if I don't have a face of like, yeah, this is what this guy would sound like, and I try to rethink the same face, I'm just like, it's kind of around here. I think
Yeah,
this is
just
what he
bring out
sound
the New York.
like.
Just bring out some sort of Jersey or just like
Yeah.
that's. I can't do that many accents. I can do like 2.5, 3,
Mhm,
maybe three, and that's about it. And those are it. It's the only color that comes in.
It happens. It happens.
Yeah.
I try to do variety, and then it just slowly turns back into my voiceover,
Uh-huh.
like, because I'm like, I'm overthinking up here, and I forget, like, oh yeah, you gotta pretend to be somebody else here.
Well, there's so much more that you can do too, not just with like doing an accent's great, but you can also just change like your pitch, or you can change the
Mhm.
tone, you can change the speech pattern, you can change. There's a lot that you can change to make your voice sound different. That doesn't have to rely on you
Right.
whipping out an accent.
I think the last game I played like 4 days ago. The GM he did pitching and voices, but also addition he just had a bunch of like hats right here. And he would just switch them out like
That's
every 10
exceptional.
minutes.
That's great.
It was great.
Oh, I really like that. That's really
Oh,
good.
Justin's amazing. uh, if I had that much headgear, I mean maybe, but I am
You
not
can
a
always
hat
start
guy,
investing.
So.
You can always start. You can always start.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually like thinking, where the hell are any of my hats?
It could be like chains. It could be necklaces. Like you could just have
Ooh.
different chains.
Or sunglasses, right? You could just any sort of
Ooh.
accessory,
Mhm.
scarves.
I do have all my
Gloves.
glasses right
Mhm.
here, my extra pairs.
Ooh. Mm-hmm.
See?
Wigs.
Wigs.
Works a lot to maintain and keep organized. I think I'll just do the glasses.
Yeah.
Just went up here, and I was like, oh, that's a lot.
Oh, man,
We've reached the hour mark. Gina, where can they find you?
Oh boy, most places on the internet. You can find me under my internet name, Gina Susanna. Oh, hey, it's Gina with an underscore at the end. I'm on most social platforms, and really, you can find me anywhere where people are having feelings about the stories that they're telling. Because I'm going to be one of them.
I imagine you just as one of the like sprites in the background, just like hovering in the game. You're not even a part of the game. But if
Just
somebody's having
weeping,
a
just
feeling,
openly weeping about something. Yeah.
you become this like ethereal cryptid.
God, that's the dream, isn't it? That's
is.
really all I can hope for. Yeah.
Thank you, dear listener, for joining us on another episode of Dungeons and Degrees. You can find us wherever pods are cast, so make sure to give us 5 stars, comment nice things about Adrian's hair.
It looks very nice.
Thank you.
Imagine if he was wearing a wig, though.
It would be so good.
Imagine.
Please,
You can give
if
hat
you do that,
suggestions.
hat suggestions.
Yeah, leave your
that'd
hat
be great.
suggestions in the comments.
Yeah.
5 stars, hat suggestions.
You can always share with your friends, your neighbors, your enemies to lover trope, your grumpy cat, golden retriever energy cup. I don't know. It's fine. You can also find us on social medias at Dungeon and Degrees, and come support us over at Patreon at patreon.com/Dungeon and Degree. No,
Sorry, I'm just like, this is muted or this is muted. And I'm like, oh.
they're all
Anyway.
muted.
Thank you so much for listening. My name's Adrian.
And I'm Alex.
And I'm Gina.
Go have some fun.
Pew, pew, pew.